What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Trail Theory Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Pfeiffer.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Trail Theory.
Oh yeah.
The podcast.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Good morning.
The sitcom.
How we doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all here tonight because I need some help.
Okay.
I have never owned a tent.
Which is hilarious to me.
Well, at least not one.
You own a car camping tent.
Yeah, no, at least not one that I've taken backpacking before. So I have always been either a hammocker or a mooch.
A hammocker. That
hammocker?
sounds funny.
Hammocker?
Hammocker.
Hammocker.
Yeah. I've been a hammocker.
I've been a hammocker.
Yeah.
I've either brought a hammock or mooched off of someone else to share a tent. And I think it's about time that I get a tent of my own.
You grow up, you become an adult.
Yeah.
You get your own tent.
I get my own tent.
Yeah.
So
6 years into backpacking, probably time.
time. What I've asked the gentleman to do for me tonight is to come with tents to pitch. No pun intended.
Hey, now.
Whoop. And so I kind of gave them some parameters. We're going to talk
Didn't
about...
give us any parameters.
Give us like one
Yeah.
thing.
Give us two.
I gave you a little bit.
So
things.
Hold on.
Serve it up now.
Hold on. I gave you a little bit. So I'm excited to hear what you have to share. I think that's going to be good because the goal tonight is for me to choose the tent that I'm going to buy. I'm going to put it in my cart by the
Take
end.
out the HELOC and get it ordered.
and get it ordered. Now, before we get too far into that,
Yeah.
I need to bring up the man who has let me borrow their tent and share their space over the last few years. We have a fun announcement. We have added a fifth Beatle to the group, and you won't ever see his face.
Oh, you might.
You might.
No.
You've seen his face before.
We finally got ourselves a professional Googler.
Yes.
And someone to help us out with production and all that kind of stuff. You've heard us mention him many times on the pod, but our buddy Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Yo, yeah,
There
I'm the
he
guy
is.
who got diarrhea on the trail.
We bring that up a lot.
I'm glad you said it. Not us.
Diarrhea Paul.
You guys
Diarrhea
said it
Paul.
enough.
DP,
so.
baby.
So Paul's going to be chiming in from time to time, probably correcting us when we're sounding like too much of an idiot.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of
often.
correcting.
Yeah.
We're going to hear Paul often.
Yeah.
But this is actually perfect because Paul can actually look up the tents that we're talking about, so I can actually see them on screen and
Yeah,
see which
it'd
one
be
looks
great.
nice for me.
Boom.
So yeah, that's it. So I mentioned parameters. I really
Parameters.
only gave you guys like one rule.
Two.
Right, it had to
It
be a
was
tent.
two.
It was two rules. So one,
It had to be a tent.
be a
Okay,
tent.
3 rules.
it did have to be a tent. It did have to be a tent.
You said
I did see
you
some
said
tarps, and I was like, ooh.
I know. I saw some. Yeah, just some single
Yeah.
floor camping. Kind
Listen,
of
I'm not against that. If you want to buy me a tarp,
you said two
I'll go
person.
out.
No, you said you were buying this.
Yes, you said.
but
two
I'm not going to buy a
was
tarp.
the-
I'm not going to pick that. But if you bought that for me, I would go out in it.
Well, you said that about the crotch pot, and you still haven't used the crotch pot.
I lost
But you
it.
said there were going to be
Lost it. I lost the crotch
You
pot. I
said
don't know
there were
where
going
it's
to be
at.
2 trips
I
next
don't
year.
believe- I don't believe that for a
I did
second.
my inventory not long ago. I couldn't find it.
We're fine. We can
all right,
find
we'll get you another one.
We'll get
Yeah,
you
well,
one.
it's just
Give me a
$20,
crotch pot.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
So tents.
So I mean,
You said two person.
Two person.
It needs to fit 2 people.
It needs to fit 2
that's
people.
the that's the funny thing is because it doesn't necessarily need to be a 2-person, but it needs to fit 2 people.
Right.
That could be a 3-person tent.
Yeah.
Because it might be nice to have
little extra
the pack
space.
in there
Yeah.
with me. It might be nice to have a little bit of extra space if it makes sense with the price and
the weight.
and everything else. And Paul is googling world's
there you
worst
go.
tents right
There-
now.
There's a prime for $20.97.
Wow,
Jeez.
dude, that these all look like homeless encampments, and
That looks like a sushi. That looks like a piece of sushi. That one that's illuminated.
one?
Yeah,
This is
fantastic.
Actually, this is my list.
that?
This is my list. This is Paul's list.
Yeah.
So
I did joke and say that like all of my tent selections were going to be from Walmart.
Yeah, mine are
They're
all
not.
Mine are all bivvies. So
Oh, great.
You can fit two people.
Two-person-
Yeah, you can
two-person
fit two
bivvies.
So you're not going
risky.
to win this because Austin said that there was going to be a prize.
Yeah.
There is a prize. I don't have the prize here. We will have to
Announce
update
the
that
prize later.
But
It's going to be a Snickers bar.
I mean, would you be mad?
No,
No.
I love a Snickers
Sweet.
bar.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So the
You
goal
totally
is
just
to
undersold that.
The
Would you
goal
be
is
mad?
to. Well, yeah.
we could have gotten so much more than
Yeah, right. A Snickers bar. That's what you want. Sweet. Done. Never mind.
Yeah,
for what
we
I had
don't
planned
know
before.
what the prize is
Oops.
yet. He could literally, now it's a Snickers
No,
bar.
it's now. It's a Snickers bar.
All right. Well,
Oops.
missed opportunity.
That's my
So
bad.
that's the goal for tonight. Like I said, it needs to hold 2 people comfortably. Obviously, since we're doing a backpacking tent, it needs to be not necessarily ultralight, but I would like it to be on the lighter ends of things. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys got. I also, being that I've never owned a backpacking tent, I'm probably going to have a lot of questions of why these ones were chosen and the differences between them. So I don't know. One of you guys want to roll?
well,
so-
I have a question.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm going to start with
lay it on
questions
me,
too.
lay it
You
on
go
me.
first.
My question to you is, because this is going to determine which way I go, because there are 2 types of tents, in my opinion. And I think it just in general. Well, I guess that's not true. There's 2 types of tents that I'm thinking of. There's a freestanding tent.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a trekking pole setup tent.
But there's
Okay.
also some between with both.
There are some that have both. There's a pyramid style. There's a couple other things that you could do. But I'm curious on if
Do you have a preference?
Do you
Yeah.
have a preference? Do you have to have a freestanding tent, or does it matter if it's a trekking pole tent?
I'm going to say
You take sticks though, right? You have trekking poles.
Because you do bring trekking
I do
poles.
have trekking poles, and I
Do you
bring
know
them
what
in.
they're-
Paul, you bring
do you know what
trekking
height
poles,
they are?
right?
I do.
Yeah, Paul brings trekking
He
poles.
does bring
too.
trekking poles.
So you got 4 sticks.
Yes, but I want to be able to bring a tent without having to bring my sticks.
Oof.
So
Okay.
I think
Okay,
that freestanding is going to be
But
What about like what I do with my trekking pole tent? I don't enjoy using my trekking poles because it doesn't put them at the correct height because they're not adjustable.
Mm-hmm.
I have carbon fiber poles.
Yeah, that's
replace that.
semi-freestanding.
Yeah. So I
So
guess
ins-
technically that would
instead of bringing
So I have one on
the
my
frame,
list that has both. That
the
uses
poles for the
both.
frame.
You can
Yeah.
buy
bring
the
poles
sticks
for the
well.
verticals.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
because
That's
because obviously price comes into that if I
Sure.
want to buy extra
Yes.
poles.
So
to make it
I think
freestanding.
this now is a position where he has poles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we came up with a compelling argument for one with poles, I think
Yep.
it's,
You would
it'd
consider
be
it.
worth listening to.
And,
right?
so.
and
I
beyond
think so.
and beyond that, even if you didn't have poles or you were against using your trekking poles for the tent, at least everyone I found, every trekking pole tent has an option for just bring the carbon fiber.
Right.
Right. So like you can't
Look at this friggin' tent that Paul's. Well, on the pole is a inflatable camping
I've seen
tent
these.
with pump.
It says
It's a
glamping in it.
glamping tent.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Hell yeah, we might have to.
No, I've seen these.
We might
They're-
have to just
$879 test that one.
Yeah.
listen.
That's horrifying.
That is nice. That is luxury, bro.
Listen, I don't do
Yeah.
math in European, but it's 17 kilograms. Is that heavy?
Yes.
it says glamping, so I've
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
imagine.
It's probably
yeah.
so heavy.
So let's phrase this up. Like let's frame this up a little bit.
Look at that.
It's nuts.
It's like a yurt.
So we all 3 did research on tents.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the things that were most important to you when you were searching for tents. I've also recently bought a tent. It is on my list.
Yeah.
But what were the things that when you were looking at, you were kind of focused on as far as, and some of those details might be knowing Austin.
Yeah.
And I would say for me, that was a component of it.
Yeah. So there's one.
I didn't think about him at all during this whole thing.
I kind of was shopping for myself, but I was thinking about you.
I was shopping
So,
too.
there's the one factor that's really important to me that I'm not sure is as important to Austin is internal square footage. So and
Okay.
headspace.
Right.
So like maximizing inside the
he's
tent how
tall
much
and
space you
lanky.
have.
Yeah.
And we've talked about I have the Nemo tensor. I've got the long and the wide. Like I need space in there. So that was big for me. For you, I don't know if that's super important, but other factors that I was looking at is weight,
Yeah. Wait.
easy setup, like user friendly.
Okay.
It's not taking you a half an hour to set this thing up, and that might have been it. actually.
See, I was looking at flexibility.
Yeah, that was it.
I was looking at footprint size. I was looking at material and durability, which kind of goes into the weight factor of it.
Agreed.
Cost obviously runs into everything. When you're talking about ultralight tents, they typically do have a higher price tag, which is just part of the game. The fabric of Dyneema is expensive. That's just how it is. I've ran across a brand new brand that I've never heard of before that I'm excited to kind of talk about.
The North Face?
No. I am North Faced out right now, aren't I?
You are. You are. You got those Patagonia pants, though.
I got the Terrabons. These are nice.
Check out the gift guide.
But
Wow.
But
you like that?
There are companies
That's my new trail name.
There are companies that do a nylon or sill. I can't remember what the material would be technically, and a Dyneema version of the same tent.
Right.
So that was kind of because it really pulls down like the price by $200.
Wow. Okay.
So I will say this, and I think in my searching, I was thinking about a couple things. One being, would it be something I would personally use? Because I
agree. Same.
I also didn't want to recommend something that was like, this is stupid, right?
Agreed.
Like,
Of course.
And,
Agree.
and some of the brands we're going to talk about, and I challenged myself to focus on some things that, I mean, obviously we talk about Hyperlight. We like their bags. We talk about some, Nemo. We're big fans of their products. I wanted to really push myself to think outside the box as far as brands.
Sure.
But also, you don't have to spend, and I also know that in the context of you wanting to buy a tent, I can't imagine you're going to want to spend $700 on a tent. So I was like challenging to say, okay, what's a really good deal? And not that the deal sacrifices all those other things. Like, I think you could spend a decent amount of money that's pretty fair, and get something pretty quality that's lightweight and kind of checks those boxes. So that, for me, was my big goal. And the last one I found, I'm really excited to talk about.
I like it. I think that, these are all good things to think about. I think for me, I am definitely a big value, like what I'm getting for the money. It doesn't need to be cheap. It doesn't need to be the least expensive thing you guys show me, but what am I getting for the money that I'm spending?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm probably going to figure out in this conversation and what you throw at me, what I'm going to value the most. Because again, I've never purchased one.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
So,
we'll see what we're looking at.
I've got several. I don't know if we're gonna hit all of them.
I imagine we're gonna cross over on a couple.
I think
because
for sure.
I think a lot of the blogs and whatnot that we're gonna go to, there are certainly some that obviously stand out.
Yeah.
And to me, I think we're gonna probably cross
all right.
paths.
So Pfeiffer, do you want to start, and then Paul, you can pull this one up and see what we're looking at.
I'll throw one out. It's not. I don't know if I have a best, but I did like a pros cons list for each. This one technically has the most in the pros column. So it's the Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2.
Yep, I had that on my list too.
So this one's
nice
this one's
crossover
really. It was actually I know Big Agnes is the brand. Like it's pretty popular.
yes,
I've never really looked into their tents. It was really highly rated on a number of different
it is.
reviews that I was looking at. And so a couple of the pros that I put down, the setup of it. So it's freestanding. So the poles and everything remind me a lot of my Lynx 1 that I have right now.
Gotcha.
Which
Yeah.
I love because I'm so used to setting it up, and it's easy. It's intuitive. You can do the fly just without the internal. You can do the internal without the fly. So it reminded me a lot of what I have right now.
Nice.
A lot of headroom.
It looks tall.
Yeah.
It looks tall.
The vestibule's pretty sizable. And so if you're going to put your pack out there, it more than enough room to fit it. And
that's a single person.
I was just going to say this one looks like a single one.
Well, there is a double because
there's a
I
double.
researed this when I bought my Nemo.
The
and so I have a
UL2.
couple thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
UL2, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So what's cool about this too, and this is a factor. It's never really been an issue for us, but what's nice about this is you can set up, I believe, the fly without setting up the interior.
Yeah.
So you can
interesting.
basically set the tent up without getting all your shit wet.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, it's a feature.
Or if
It's
you
not
really,
a make or break.
If you really just wanted to do, if you're in an area where it's
Something-
like you wanted to do floor
Yeah, you
camping
just
and
wanna
just sort of
chill.
lay out, you can just
the
have the fly up.
majority of tents that are
Freestanding,
kind of new
yeah.
that are freestanding are like that. I mean,
Yep.
I will say this though, even my 6 Moon Design Haven tent, that's a 2-person tent, does a fly only setup.
That's
with a
interesting.
footprint.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I see that in the one picture that you can do it just on its own.
like minimal trail
So does
weight.
that mean that the like the poles attach mainly to the
fly.
The
No.
fly,
Yes.
or is it just
So
you can
they'll-
also
No,
use
I don't
it for
think
the
they
fly?
do.
They're under, so the poles will loop through little loops on the inside of the fly and the underside of the fly. You
Okay.
don't really have to. The fly will just rest on top and cinch down.
Yeah,
oh, I
right.
see.
Go
Okay,
anywhere.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But technically, there's little loops you can go through.
But you can,
and then
yeah.
the inside sets up underneath and then just hooks to the poles from the bottom.
That is, dude. That is
That's
not
how
bad.
my
And those
Haven is.
that
Yeah.
price is pretty solid. I mean, it looks like it's
$450 MSRP.
And so I put 450 because that's retail. And let's talk about
But
the
it's
weight.
on sale for
so
$350.
It's a good
right
deal.
now.
Yeah,
That's a
it's-
good deal.
well.
solid
See,
deal.
this is another reason why I wanted to have this episode now because Black Friday is
Right.
next weekend.
Yeah.
you might be
All
able to
of
get
our
it.
prices are going to be skewed.
Yeah,
You
they're
might be able
way
to get
off.
it a lot cheaper than that too.
let's talk weight though, this is what's stood out to me on this one. So 2 pounds 8 ounces on this, which
Wow.
again, coming from what I have right now, which is heavy, that's like a huge improvement, and it's two
That's
person.
that's pretty
But
good
that's-
for a 2-person
right,
tent
that's
because
pretty solid.
the tent is separate from the fly
Yes.
and the internal. So if you were going with Paul, right, and you guys were sharing the tent,
Yep.
you guys could split the fly up from the internal tent,
Yeah.
and then
It
you know,
is-
someone
It is
flips
not.
Yeah,
it's
rather
not
than
the
just sharing-
lightest.
yeah, one-
exactly.
It's not the lightest on my list by a long shot, but that is totally manageable.
But dude, that's not bad. I mean, it's I'm seeing it as 2.48 pounds.
So
That's crazy. Yeah,
I'm going to throw one wrench here.
yep.
And
Do it. Please do.
And I'm only going to throw this wrench because I researched this tent. Because I was very close to buying a Big Agnes tent. I also have another one on my list that I will bring up on the heels of this. I read multiple reviews. They have like they're kind of, I think their fabric is kind of proprietary. It's not Dyneema.
you're
It's
right.
not I forget what it's called, and Nemo has their own thing too.
Ooh, good call, Paul.
It's some nylon.
They had I read multiple reviews that the tape, the seam tape on the fly is not well done.
I see.
That's not that big of a deal, though. It sucks that you would have to redo it, but I've had to redo one of my North Face flies because that just breaks down over time, anyways.
I don't disagree,
And
but
it's
it
not
should
hard
last
to do.
longer than what I read.
Yeah.
What did it say?
I didn't research this one for this episode
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
didn't. I wasn't
Right.
going to recommend it because I remember that. So I don't remember the specific detail, but
This one comment on here, because Paul's scrolling down on the reviews, it says zippers are not covered under warranty, and this person's zipper
yeah.
busted.
That's
So
weird.
again, like, okay, so if not covered under warranty, and I will say this is one of the arguments for another tent on my list, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Nemo has a lifetime guarantee.
Right.
Yeah, right,
So
right,
like
right. Yeah.
anything goes wrong.
Well, and I mean that's
Send
where
it
you're
in.
that's where you're balancing price point and everything
Right.
because Nemo you're going to spend another $300.
It's going to be more, but
Right.
You know
And,
what?
uh,
You know what? Next one. No,
all
I'm
right,
kidding.
all
I'm
right,
kidding.
so on
this
the
is
heels
actually.
of that-
hold on. I will say
It's a
this
good
is a
starting
really
point.
this is a great starting point. I am very intrigued. It's a good
It's a
looking
good
tent.
tent.
The,
It's a
the
good
price
tent.
is solid. I like the weight. I mean, honestly, dude, I think Paul, because the last few trips we split. Like I took some poles, he took some of the other
Yep.
parts. I think you had the REI half dome too.
Yep.
And it was like 5.5 pounds.
Yeah.
So we're
Just
That's
about.
heavy.
we're cutting so much
Yeah.
weight off
I
just
think
to go
those
in with something like
just,
this.
I don't know if anybody brought these into their list. I think REI makes fucking awesome tents.
Oh,
I
dude,
think
they are
make
not
great
the
stuff.
Absolutely.
lightest.
Yeah.
They're
but
not
I
light.
think they're nice
Not light,
tents.
but they are good.
Yeah,
So-
I think there's a few guys that have REI tents in our group.
All right, so with this, on the heels of this, because I think this is good, a good segue. Look up one of my recommendations because again, I think Big Agnes makes really nice products. I think and some of that for me was I wanted to make sure that a lot of the brands I was suggesting were things that I kind of felt like I trusted. The one that I would recommend, it's a little pricier than this one, is the Big Agnes Copper Spur.
The
Two-person?
the HV.
I saw that one. I didn't add
Well,
it.
I like what you guys said.
That first one
what,
there, yeah.
Alex, what you
That's
said
the
earlier
three, that's
when we
the
were
two.
prefacing this episode.
You know
were
why I
saying
didn't pick this
wouldn't-
one? The little awning thing is goofy.
Oh, I think it's cool.
That was the sole reason I didn't pick it.
Yeah, but dude, you don't have to use it.
I
You
don't
have
have
to use
to.
it.
I
You
don't have
use
to.
it. It
I
zips
just-
down.
Yeah.
It was purely. I saw the picture. I was like, it's goofy.
All right,
You know
okay.
why Alex
Let's
likes
go
that?
over- let's go
'Cause
over
his
some-
Snow Peaks does that.
I love
Hold
it.
on. Let's do some.
Yeah.
Let's do some specs, and
All right.
then let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah.
about
So-
the
So the two person
the
is
hanger.
530 bones. It's 2 pounds 10 ounces. It's freestanding. It's spacious. It has two vestibules. It has an awning if you have trekking poles. So and that's why I was saying it's like you have two people. You both carry trekking poles. You can set the tent up without trekking poles, and then if you have them, you can use them to use the awning. So it's like I think about the trip that we did when we did Dolly Sods 2.0. If you want a little like outdoor space to just like keep your
Chill.
shit
Yeah.
under,
Yeah.
like it's a nice feature. You don't have to use it.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of neat. I liked what I like about the previous Big Agnes and this one is, dude, it's just spacious. Like,
Yeah.
here's
It
this
is
photo. Of
spacious.
this
Yeah, look
thing.
at that. It's- I
like,
mean, it's-
that's cool as shit.
That's
Yeah.
big.
That's that's neat. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't need all that extra shit.
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
cool.
It's-
It's
yeah.
cool.
There's
the
a lot
headspace
of
is
stuff.
huge.
In
I
my
am-
mind, I'm always like it's more stuff that can go wrong kind of thing. So it's like
I'm definitely the kind of person that's like, is the extra effort worth?
But you can just
or worth
use
it?
them as zippers. Like,
Yeah,
see
you
that
can-
photo
I see.
there?
Yeah. No, I don't mind that at all. I have a question. Go back down to specs real quick, because there was a couple terms in there that I thought were kind of interesting. So there's a few different weights on there. So there's fly, footprint, pitch weight.
Right.
Then there's minimum trail weight, and then there's packaged weight.
You wanna go packaged weight.
No. Packaged weight is what it comes in as it's packaged
So, like,
in the retail store.
The stuff sack,
Cardboard.
all
I
the
see.
shit inside. yeah.
Everything that it comes with.
Yeah, so minimum trail weight is
would
what
be
you
what
want.
you would carry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
because like I think about my tent, like it comes with kind of a durable bag. I don't
Right.
even take it.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's another thing to think about when it comes to pricing, because you guys said not all the time does the footprint come with the
That
tent.
is true.
Not most of the time. No.
And with
If it's
Big Agnes,
ultralight,
they do
it's
not
not
come,
gonna.
right?
No, they
Ultralight
don't.
does not. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
In fact,
Because it's gonna make it heavier if
I don't
they
think
do.
I found a single tent. And I haven't, and actually my links that I've had for years and years, the footprint was separate. So
Does the
I would-
footprint need to be modeled for the tent? Like, do I need to get the Big
yeah.
Agnes
No.
footprint?
No, I don't think so. So with the footprint, you could use it to set your stuff up a little easier. So like your
it
freestanding
basically
poles would go
gives
into
you
the
the
architecture.
architecture.
Because like
Yeah.
my 1-person and 2-person North Face tent, it did come with the footprint, and
Okay.
you can use the pole or the tent poles to go into it, so
Right,
it keeps
right.
it more
I see,
taut
I
when
see.
you're
The-
setting it.
that
up.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
because
It's
it's
wor-
got the spokes in it.
It's probably
Yeah,
worth it.
you could
worth
just
it.
use something
Right.
else.
You could
underneath.
use something else. It's worth it.
You could
if
get like a
it's part
cheap
of a
tarp.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
if you
I
want to save
also
money.
saw-
It's part
of a unit,
How much
though.
are the footprints? Like $70, $80?
Yeah, they can
They
be.
can be.
No, well, check for the. I wonder
Dude,
what it is.
dude,
for
I'm
the
telling
Big
you,
I'll
a
bet
Big
it's,
Agnes one is
70
listen,
bones.
I like the
90.
9. Okay.
For that one specifically.
There you go.
Damn.
Oh, there you go.
What about for the previous one? Because I so far
The
that one's
UL2.
kind of itching.
Well,
So-
this is going to get a lot
Sweet
harder for you,
spot.
Austin, because
You're gonna do better.
You're-
We're gonna do better
gonna do
than
better.
this. We're gonna do better than this. I hate to
not
say it.
saying no. I'm.
That one
If you like
that
the
one might come
UL
with the
2,
footprint.
Then we can just end the episode now.
right? If you like the UL 2, this is going to be a hard decision for you. The UL 2 is nothing to
Shrug.
shake a stick at. But if
They make
there's
good
there's
products.
others that are
Yeah.
very interesting.
Gotcha.
I'd be
Okay.
curious what you
I
think.
tell you what. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
hit
go
me.
with you. Yeah, Brian.
I'm going to
take
go
it.
with something
Brian's gonna go.
completely opposite. Okay, so
Do it.
I am going to go to a trekking pole setup.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's do
So,
it.
and I want to talk about this company. This company is called Tarp Tent.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Did you see
Yeah.
it? Did you have it on your
Yes.
list?
Yeah. I didn't put it on the list. I'm curious why you have it on yours, and because I didn't put it on mine.
I know why I didn't put it on my list.
I've never heard of it
I will say
before.
this, and
Scary.
this is not a downgrade to the
we go.
company, because
No, yeah.
all the reviews that I've read and all of
Right.
the YouTube videos that I've watched on this any of these tents have been glowing reviews. Outstanding. They're made in the US
spent-
here.
Is this
I
the
spent a
one
lot of
you want?
time.
This so there
spent a
is
lot of time
one
on
that
this
is the single person of it. So it's the Dipole 2 Li.
It's Dipole.
I didn't.
It is a little bit more expensive. It's on sale right now.
Dipole.
But there's a couple things that I love about this tent.
Look at this
Okay,
thing.
so with a trekking pole setup, and this is a single. It's a single wall setup, which means that it doesn't have an internal mesh tent and then a fly. Everything is connected and all in one. Okay,
Yeah, so condensation might be a problem.
is a problem.
Yeah.
I know Greg has had a problem with his Z-Packs tents
Right.
before with the
Interesting.
Which
condensation.
is on my list.
Yes,
But yes,
so,
carry on.
Here's what I love about this tent. And we can see the video of it. Do you see the head and the foot box?
Oh, it's huge.
It opens up to this mesh section. And so if it's nice out and it's not raining or anything like that, you can open those up and it creates this incredible venting
That is
between
that's
both
nice.
top and bottom. You have huge vestibules on both sides. It's a 2-person tent, but it has a lot of room inside for a 2-person tent.
That
It's
is
sizable.
spacious.
Yeah.
Super
that is
spacious.
that's a big
very
that's a big
nice.
2-person.
All right,
Yes.
that's nice. Yeah.
So-
What? Yeah. Give me some more specs. What are we looking at for weight?
The weight for the whole thing is 30.95 ounces. So it's
That's under 2 pounds.
Under 2 pounds.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
But
probably
that doesn't
that's
include
contributing.
That won't include the poles.
That wouldn't include the
You would
poles.
use your trekking
You would
poles.
use your
Oh, that
trekking
makes
poles.
sense. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
you could do, the carbon Z
Right.
poles that I have. Those weigh like
So
almost nothing.
Paul,
5 ounces.
Could you look? Are there pole? Like, does it say that you can buy poles for it?
You
that
can-
aren't trekking poles.
You can buy
You will
poles
need
for that.
2 trekking poles.
You can-
yes, or substitute
Or
poles.
substitute poles,
Okay.
right. You-
Because I
which
was
you
going to
can
say
do.
the trekking pole thing for me, and I hate to say it, trekking pole tents. I have a few on my list. That's a deal breaker for
Well,
me.
here's the thing. You're either going to carry tent poles or trekking poles.
Right.
So
Here,
like
there's the
I
poles
get
right
it.
there.
They've
got poles right
I
there.
just think every single trekking pole tent I've ever seen, like the next morning, it's like a little saggy. Like
right, setup is harder.
So
setup is definitely
that
harder.
is one of the things I love about this tent. So if you go back up a little bit, Paul, it has a lot of different guidelines. So you can set it up with 4 stakes if you wanted to, which is the minimum. That's no problem. They say to be completely taut and perfect and stuff like that, you could use 8. So
Yeah, they
really
want you
not
to
that
really guide
not
it
that
out,
crazy.
yeah.
You could use 6 and have the flies for the vestibules
Right.
come out. But what I love about this, go up a little bit, Paul, towards the top. It does come with the 2 carbon fiber poles at the ends.
oh, it comes with it.
Comes with those ones.
That's nice.
Because those ones at the end there. So it comes with those. And what it does, it creates this incredible tension that goes between all the corners, the 2 trekking pole pieces for your peaks, and then it pulls out in this like V shape for where those little poles are at the head and foot box, and pulls it in the middle too.
Yeah.
So while this is not a 4-season tent,
This photo on the left is to me what most of these tents look like when you wake up. They look like a deflated.
I've seen
Plastic
videos of guys that
grocery
have
bag.
been through like terrible weather, and it looks like
Yeah.
a really taut tent still.
Wow.
And people
I
are
like
even
this
using
tent.
it for
I like this
winter
tent.
too.
This is interesting.
So really cool. It also, if you didn't want to spend that much money on it, because it is probably the most expensive tent we've talked about so far. Right
Yeah.
now, it's on sale for $647.10.
Yeah.
For a Dyneema tent,
It is Dyneema.
That's a good deal.
It is
I
a
hate
good
to
deal
say
for a
it.
Dyneema tent.
Yeah.
They also make a non-Dyneema version,
right.
which is
I think of most of their
which
their
is
tents too.
$300. It's
Yeah.
$295.20.
And what am I? So Dyneema, basically, it's just going to be lighter and more durable.
It's a lighter, more durable material.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Carbon
Gotcha.
carbon fiber fabric.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just fibery
But
weird.
a very nice footprint of a tent.
Yeah.
It's a good tent.
It carries really well. There's a lot of flexibility with it, and I love that
feature of the
the
is
2
nice.
windows
That
in
is
the front
pretty
and
sweet.
back.
I will say
So
this:
nice.
like, I'm not. I at first going into this, I was kind of opposed to doing a trekking pole one. This one's sweet. If there's not a freestanding one that blows me away, then I would go with trekking poles.
Well,
They-
let's
they
do
have a,
this.
They have a
that-
freestanding version of this kind of too.
Let's do this.
Do they?
Kind of, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the reason why I love, actually, I was looking at a different version. I forget what it was called.
Was it the double rainbow?
No, I saw that one too. That was
that too.
interesting.
double rainbow.
There's I would say, regardless of what Austin picks, go to Tarp Tent and check out the stuff they have because there's
Good
so
product.
many
Really should.
different.
This stuff
looks dope.
It's so
It's
interesting.
awesome. They have
Oh,
so many
what's-
tents.
What's their warranty? Does it say it on there? I mean, I hate to be that guy, but
Well, no, that's important.
They're
I'm
out
either
of-
buying it from REI or someone with a good warranty.
They're out of Nevada City in California, so it's a U.S. company.
If we can find that, we'll
It looks like they
talk
have
about
repairs
it.
too. That helps.
But what reason why it didn't make my list is because I opted to instead. This reminded me a lot of Durston, and what I like more about Durston goes back to the internal, basically square footage on the internal space, and that Durston has a similar design. It's still a trekking pole setup, but because of how they situate the fly versus the inside, it's kind of angled a bit. They maximize the inside space, and you still get the vestibule space.
yeah, it's kind of like a trapezoid. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
of all the tents on my list, like they usually hover between 84 and 86 like square inches basically on the inside. Durston's over 90.
Wow.
And
is this one person or two person?
This is the X-Mid Pro 2.
Okay.
So it's
So
two.
so if we
Pull it up.
the Durston X-Mid Pro 2.
Paul, while you're
Durston.
pulling that up, their warranty, Tarp Tent's warranty, is a lifetime warranty against defects, materials, craftsmanship against the original purchaser of the tent or
Okay.
an authorized dealer. So
All right.
a lifetime warranty.
Lifetime
There
warranty.
you go.
Tarp tent. Touche.
Fife, give me that name again.
Durston X
X-Mid
Mid Pro 2.
What's that? 700 bones.
That is 654.
Okay, yeah.
At least where I was looking at it. The weight comes in
it
at 1
won't be
That
pound.
top
REI.
link there, Austin or Paul.
The
We should have picked the Googler.
Go-
Then it
go
would
down.
spell.
there you
Yeah,
go. Yep, super light tent. That one right there. The weight comes in at 1 pound 7.1
Which
ounces,
is
which is
light.
Again, not including trekking poles. And
You're carrying those anyways.
right, you're carrying them anyway. So
In your hands.
No, you're not. I'm
in
not.
your hands. In your hands.
well
You're
under
not. You're
under
weird.
2 pounds.
Okay, so real quick, this
to
is
Dy-
the non-Dyneema
This is the
version.
Dyneema.
That
We're
is
looking at
already
the
at
Dyneema
640.
one.
No,
Yeah,
that's
640.
the
No,
that's
this
the
is-
woven version.
Yes,
Click
this is
click the Dyneema version right there. Yeah,
Oh,
there we go.
739.
yeah.
There we go.
So, and if I was doing this, I don't have to have Dyneema. I'm okay. Like
Wait, did the weight that you gave was the woven version?
it's the X-Mid Pro 2. I had 654.
For the
For woven or
the woven
Dyneema?
version was the
Hold on.
1
let me,
pound
let me
something
open my link.
under the
woven
2
right
pounds.
here
I
is-
might have had the woven.
Put on the
640.
Dyneema one
I had
and
the
go
woven.
down and see if see if you can find
The
weight.
specs.
I linked the woven for mine.
Oh wow.
So, but I love the design of this. I love the space you get. Yeah, that. So you still get the vestibule space. It's still dual entry. So it's a good solid
21
2-person tent.
ounces.
And it's
That's for the
Durston makes
Dyneema.
great products. I'm going to start by saying that.
And we've
Yeah.
seen the 1-person version of this.
yes.
Yeah.
And I've laid in the 1-person version of this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I loved it.
I like their products, and I remember finding them and being interested.
Warranty's 2 years.
The more I think about their like pole setup, again, I don't know, having been in windy situations with people, with having slept in one,
Yeah.
having been in one with Greg, I don't know. I am not a pole. I want to have a freestanding tent with actual physical poles.
Yeah.
Just from
I feel
just
you.
to see it. I don't know. I feel like in the morning they just look a little saggy.
they
So,
always,
hang on,
they
hang on.
always
Does-
have that
Does
sag in
Greg-
it to
does
begin
Greg
with.
have?
the
he
one
is
the
the
one
one
person.
person.
Does
Yeah.
he really?
Single,
yeah.
This is what he uses currently.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And he
Interesting.
likes it. He has positive things to say about
Yeah.
it.
The only thing that I think is weird about this one is that shape.
The
And
shape
I feel
to me
like,
is goofy.
I feel like that's the hard part of
Yeah, it's
setting the
slightly
thing up.
angled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really goofy where you have like it's like set up like a trapezoid,
Yeah.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah. But you get that extra.
and it's
you know,
made
yeah, a few
for the
inches.
space, and that's
Yeah.
like I forget the dude's name. It's literally Durston. I forget his first name, but that's like his shtick is he's maximizing space. Which, if we're talking about simply maximizing space, congratulations, he's done it. He did a great
Yeah,
job.
Durston
It's
did
a
it.
great product.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm kind of with
you know,
you. It's
but
a little goofy.
It checks the
I
boxes
gotcha.
for weight and all that. Now, again, not freestanding. So I haven't switched to a trekking pole setup yet. I don't know if I will, but if I were to, this is probably where I'd go.
Yeah, gotcha. I love it. All right, next one. Let's do
I have so many
Alex.
more. Alex, you go next.
Okay, so I have a lot on my list, but
do I.
we're already at 34
How about
minutes.
this? Let's do freestanding because I want to see some good freestanding options.
All right, so I'm gonna wrench one in here that I'm pretty excited about because I think it's a really reputable brand. I own one of their tents, and I just recently I found it literally before we were kicking into this episode. I don't have a ton of research on this, but let's look it up. So it is Marmot is the brand. I own the Marmot Tungsten 3-person. We have all 4 slept in a 3-person in that 3-person tent.
Yes, we have.
And I will say this: I've used the shit out of that tent, and it's a fantastic, not super light tent, but it's a great tent, and I think Marmot did an awesome job on it. So
You know what's interesting? As we pull this up, as I tried to look at a lot of like top lists and different people's top 10s and everything. I don't think I saw a single Marmot.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised
What's
because they're not a bad
really?
brand. I
So
don't know
what's
why.
the name of this tent?
So it's Marmot, and this is where I think it's interesting. Marmot has they recently came out with an ultralight version, which is called the Super Alloy.
The Super Alloy.
I don't think we've seen this.
Now,
I have not seen this.
I will say this right now: the 3-person, which if I'm buying, and I've recently done this with my Nemo, I returned my 2-person. I bought a 3-person to use as a 2-person. I think 2-person ultralight tents are generally tight. They're
It's
kind
tight.
of tight.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I like a little extra space.
Paul, there's the 3 a little bit to the right.
So they make a 3-person and a 2-person tent. Of
There we
this.
go. Oh, go back one.
And,
there we go.
and they're pretty damn light. I think they're cool. They're like lime green, which I think is cool.
Oh,
as hell.
yeah, dude.
But the so I was just looking at the 2-person tent is $235.
Yeah.
Which is a frickin' steal.
Dang.
And I think Marmot makes really, really, really great products. I've
that
owned
is-
the tent. I
is
think
that
it's
a
great.
sale? Is that a sale price for the 2-person?
That is a sale price.
That's
Yeah.
That's
a
super
3-person.
price.
So
this is
we're
so
looking
go
at a
look-
3-person right now.
Go look. I would personally probably buy the 3-person, but look
Yeah.
at
Just stay here.
Go down, Paul. I don't remember looking at the weight of this. I know the 2-person is like 2 pounds. I'll bet this is like 3 pounds.
Which is still, I guess, if you broke it up.
Coming from someone who currently carries over 4 pounds.
Which is insane to me.
Look at that.
Is it
Under
2
3 pounds.
2 pounds,
for a
14 ounces.
3-person ultralight tent.
Yeah.
That's spacious.
Yeah.
as
So
hell,
almost
dude.
3 pounds. Yeah, 2 pounds, 14 ounces.
Yeah, that is good.
Well,
That
and
is
to
good.
me-
Go back up to those images. I want to see some of
Yeah,
those.
By
take a
the
look.
time you factor in all the features and the yada yada yada,
So
that's why I justified going from a 2 to a 3.
I have a comment.
Where it's like half a pound is not going to make or break my pack.
I have a comment. This is side entry, right?
Right.
Okay.
So there's 2 entrances.
All right, so dual entry both. All right,
Dual
so the
entry.
one, and I think it's fine here because it's a 3-person and it's bigger. The shape where your head's supposed to be, it gives more headroom there,
Right.
and then kind of slopes down
It's
towards your
asymmetrical.
feet.
Yeah, it tapers
So,
towards your feet.
I will say I don't love that. So when
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh,
when
I do like
when I
that.
got the Nimbus and tried out the Nimbus,
That's
was
more extreme than what this is.
right. This
though.
is much more
Yeah.
discreet, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Nimbus did the same thing, and it was like, yeah, I can sit up, kinda,
But not the whole
slope,
way.
The slope is already going
Yeah.
down in the middle of the tent. So if you sit up in the middle of the tent, your forehead's touching the top of the tent.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
listen, for $268,
That's pretty good.
Right.
and it's a 3-person tent. You talk about room to spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That
I
to
mean,
me,
you're gonna have the width there that like I didn't have in the Nimbus, obviously. So
Yeah.
there's room to play. It's just that I don't love that.
Hang on. And
that
go down. There's one of
design.
those pictures. Is that bananas that person has in there?
Right there, right here.
Yeah, dude.
No,
What is
it's-
that?
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
a
a
bunch of
headlamp.
bananas.
and,
It's a headlamp.
and they have a light hanging from the middle. It's certainly not a Lucy light.
The
Yeah,
weirdest
look at that.
headband
Look at that.
on a headlamp
Oh,
I think I've
okay,
ever seen.
that's what it is.
There's a lot of bells and whistles for this thing.
It's
And
just
the-
got pockets,
The
yeah.
only thing that I think is a downside on this one is that, and I know a lot of them do this now, where the pole setup for it is like a one-piece pole.
Yeah.
I don't love that either.
This looks like it's pretty long and bulky.
Yeah.
And they
Like,
don't
that
when it's
looks
I
like
hate-
it doesn't pack
That looks
well.
long.
Yes.
I had that for all my
Chuck them next
freestanding.
on the side of your
It looks-
pack.
You would
long.
have to put
You'd
them
have
on
to.
the outside of your
Yeah.
pack.
I think so.
That's
yeah.
easy enough.
For
Yeah.
all my freestanding ones, I had that as a
But
as a
something
con
to
is that
consider.
the pack down doesn't. If you're trying to be really efficient with space in your pack, the freestandings are not the best.
You have to deal with the poles.
Yeah.
You gotta deal with the
100%.
Yeah, I get
now,
that.
if you separate the poles and you can just shove everything else in there, then you've got
Yeah,
some flexibility.
sure.
But
Because that's what I do with my Nemo. It's like I get everything in a stuff sack, and then
Right.
I just put the poles on the outside.
Gotcha. Yeah. I dig it. I think that's a good option. I think that's a good dark horse candidate because the price is really solid. It's still really lightweight. It's a 3-person, which means I'm going to get a little bit more space out of
Yeah.
it. I love the lime green color
It's
to it.
hot
pretty
looking,
cool.
man.
It's not necessarily exactly what I was thinking as far as I didn't think of Marmot at all when I
Yeah.
was thinking of
Yeah.
brands and stuff like that. So
Well, and honestly, I maybe wouldn't have, but I've spent so many nights in my Marmot tent
right. Yeah.
that it's like, and that's why I didn't want to immediately go to Dyneema and
Right.
Hyperlight.
Sure.
I wanted to find something that, I mean, that's a $270. You could buy this for $270
Yeah,
today.
crazy. That's
And we were just
not
talking about
expensive.
a $700 tent.
Yeah.
Right.
A $700 tent. Is $400 worth a pound?
Yeah, but between the two, I'd probably go ahead and get this one for sure.
It's an
so,
interesting
yeah.
it's an interesting one to compare.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right, my turn.
Yeah,
it is,
Go ahead.
yes.
All right, I'm gonna do one more from that tarp tent because I think it's kind of neat.
ooh, wow.
It's
Okay.
called it's tarp tents. It's called the double rainbow.
That
And
looks
they
like they should call that one the bulge.
They make a DW version, which is a non-Dyneema version, and they make an LI version, which is the Dyneema version. Very very different in price points, but
Brian,
if you-
did they pay you for this episode?
Yes, they did.
Okay, good.
And I'm
That's all.
expecting to get my check very soon, guys.
Fantastic.
They are not. I've never heard of this brand before.
Yeah.
and
I know.
I was
looking at
absolutely shocked
the
by some of this stuff.
Stratosphere. Or
I looked at
something.
that one too. That
I
one
like
was
that
neat
one.
too.
Yeah.
If you go to the top and just go to shop.
Oh, there it is.
Or
There it is.
yeah.
DW and
Double
then the
Doing it my
rainbow.
way, Brian.
Yeah, so
rainbow.
that is the non-Dyneema version.
This is interesting.
But it's kind of neat what they do with the pole. So it's a one pole in the middle all the way
Yeah.
through, and then it's a little middle piece that comes out to give you the width of the sides.
Whoa.
So kind of a neat footprint. It's still able to fit into tight spots, and I think
Yeah,
that's
it
one of the
looks
things that I
small.
thought about.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tighter than I obviously a 3-person tent would be. I would say it's a little bit bigger than what the 2-person.
Hold on.
Nemo
Do
is,
they
though.
make
Yeah,
a
yeah.
I was gonna say,
3-person
go-
version of the double rainbow?
I think
Yeah.
they might.
Go to the.
I'm intrigued.
the triple rainbow.
Let's go to the 3-person section.
The
triple
It's called the triple rainbow.
No way.
DW.
It is.
It's 449.10 right now.
If you keep going
It's
down,
not bad either, though.
It's
Paul,
out of stock
There
right
you
now.
go. Sleeps more. That should be in here
Triple
somewhere.
rainbow.
the cloud.
You can do
burst.
she
you can do
is.
carbon fiber poles.
They have
in
one
these
called the
too.
Hogback.
Yeah, like look at that.
Whammo.
That's slick.
That's a good looking tent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is starting to
that I like
bring
pretty
feelings
neat.
that I've never felt before.
That feature is
It
really
looks
cool.
cool.
I don't know how to describe it.
It's very futuristic.
This
Yeah,
has me
jingles
feeling
and
some
jingles.
sort of way.
So there's
a little
there's,
We're
sus.
getting close.
there's the feature where you roll up one of the sides, and so it's like half. So if you wanted to stargaze, you could stargaze with
that's a cool
keeping
feature.
the
Damn it!
other section.
I'm gonna be buying from Tarp Tent.
Um,
you can go half fly.
So let's. I've seen. Okay, these pictures look really nice. That's cool. There's definitely some space. I like that.
What's this puppy
But
weigh?
we need to see some weight. I need to see this thing packed down too.
The weight for this as a 3-person is a lot heavier. It's 48.15 ounces.
What's
So-
that? What's that?
That's
I don't-
under 3. It's
It
close
is
to
under
3.
3.
Close to
Okay.
3.
All right,
So I guess
to me,
technically-
a pound
yeah.
a person is really
2 pounds, 8
reasonable.
ounces.
But again,
something like
this is a freestanding one, so it doesn't require trekking poles. Correct?
Correct.
Dude.
Yeah. This is a good tent.
Color me intrigued.
And I'm sorry. What was the price?
Did we say $450?
Yeah,
It's on
450.
sale for It's out of stock right now.
You can do the carbon. You can
Of
do
course.
a carbon fiber or not a carbon fiber.
Oh, that's
footprint.
not even that much
Poles.
more. Yeah,
Still,
that'll be
that's
even
not-
lighter.
This is a good tent.
Can
I
we
like this.
scroll down and see a picture of this packed? Does it have a pack like what
Yeah,
it looks
do
packed
they
down?
have a picture next to an Algene of this one?
I don't think it does.
Here, my
No, that's just
No, it's
accessories
not
for
much.
bags and
So
stuff.
I'll tell you this much, Austin.
All right, yeah,
because it has poles, it's going to be the longer, skinnier thing. But same thing. If you take
Yeah,
the poles out, you
strap
can
'em on the
you can
side,
compress
pocket.
that down to something. I bet you could get this. What's your sleeping bag right now? What do you?
Smaller than that, bro.
And it's a fly. It's a fly and internal.
Trestles. You have the trestles.
So
Yeah.
you could separate those two and get it to
Yeah.
pack down a lot.
If you can get the poles in their own little pocket and
Right.
put them on the side, any of these things you can stuff
down
into a
to
little bag.
smaller than
for
your-
sure.
than
Like,
your
I wouldn't
bag
even
at
stress
least, yeah.
about that.
I'm pretty intrigued by this too because there's enough space on this too where I feel like this would definitely come with me for car camping.
You could for sure.
You know, with like my wife
Yeah.
and I,
Yeah.
or like, you know, if I had like a pop up tent and I just needed like another tent, that
Yeah.
would be a good space. Like that would be good. So yeah, dude, this is really intriguing.
What's the material on this?
Dude, I was just looking at that. It is the fly fabric is now a 20D silicone coated both side polyester. So it's a sil poly.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So-
beat that.
Well, I don't know if this is going to beat it. I'm going to throw in one more trekking pole one.
Okay.
I like
And
that tent.
my first
too.
pro on it is just it looks sexy.
Oh.
Like that's the only. That's
all
not the
I want.
only reason.
I want one that just looks good.
And also I like
the
the name
gram.
of it. So it's the Gossamer Gear the
Oh,
2.
yeah, Gossamer gear.
This is on my list
It's just
too.
called the 2.
And it's a good price.
I love
It's a
Gossamer
good
gear.
price.
It's a really good price.
I love Gossamer gear.
And when I looked at it, I was just like, it just looks slick. It's like it's
this is
They
gonna
make
be
good products.
This is going to be a tight tent.
This is
though.
going to be light as isn't
It'll
it?
be the name again.
It's pretty light.
Do they
the
make a
weight,
3 though?
The weight is
I didn't
1
look at
pound,
that.
12 ounces.
Yeah, it's going to be a
What's
tight
it
tent.
look?
It's called the 2.
The
The
2.
two.
Gossamer Gear the 2.
You can't just call it 2. You have to call it the.
Right. So it is trekking pole. Again, it's trekking pole tent. It's going to be very similar to the Durston. It's going to be very similar
You can
to,
buy poles for it though, because
yes.
that was the only reason it's on my list. Is
Yes.
Is it only the fly? Oh, no. Never mind.
But I just like the gray.
It's
sort of like
gray.
a steely gray.
Interesting.
It just
Well,
looks
to me, and I have the Z-Pax Duplex on my list too.
Yeah.
I think is beat by the tarp tent. I'll say that because that
Oh.
little arch of the mesh I think
the-
is a nice feature.
Yeah.
It's a little extra fussy in my opinion, but I think it's for the price a better deal. The reason I put the 2 on my list is because I felt like it was the Duplex but cheaper.
Yeah.
by
Right,
like
right.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
right,
the
right,
weight
right.
wasn't bad.
It's not
and that,
Dyneema, though,
and that
right?
image that you just had at the top, Paul, with the front open, that's
It's nice.
similar to the tarp tent, where if you have it open, that venting through
Yeah.
is like it's very open. It's
Airy.
very
Obviously, that can all be closed.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
yes.
the vent, that's a huge amount of venting that you can get in there. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty
If
pretty
you
wicked.
keep that open, though.
Right.
Like,
You don't have
if
to worry
it's
about
raining.
if you're not raining. Yeah.
The farts will just flow out. No
But
hot
it's-
boxing.
I mean, obviously, any 2-person, worth its salt is going to be dual entry, which this is. So it's got the sides.
Yeah, I feel like if you're throwing a tent up that
but
doesn't
yeah.
have 2 entrances,
Dude, I don't know. The Nimbus does not have
Right.
a dual entry. It's only that one front entry.
which
you
I
got to
feel
be
like
a
for
psychopath
Even
to
on
buy that.
even
though.
on the 2-person.
right for a 2-person, I think is kind of crazy. Anything
Yeah.
above that, though, the front entry, like you've got the big tent, the family tent, which is just
Yeah.
the one main, the front.
Whoa,
entry,
dog!
right?
There's
But
I got
that's
a door on
a
all
6-foot
sides.
tent.
That's
Oh, do you?
4. They got 4 doors on that puppy.
Shit, all right. You just never used them. He's
got a screened-in porch.
My bad. All right, but
It
no,
packs
I
down
thought
like
this
so
was
small.
again. You're going trekking pole, but the simplicity of it.
Yeah,
And
it's nice.
and it's the again, space for me was a big thing. So
Yeah,
I think
right,
this
right,
one
right.
had well, it was more on the average. It was the 85. So it's got about as much space as the Big Agnes, maybe slightly less.
Let me ask this. This is probably really late in the conversation to
It
ask
does
this,
pack down
but
small. You're right, Paul.
is it pretty universal as far as what trekking poles you can use?
No.
Only because your height, you should be okay.
Yes, you individually.
Pfeiffer
because
couldn't if he was using his poles
I'd
because
have
he's too tall.
I'd have to buy new poles for myself that are extendable that you can customize the height.
Adjustable, yeah.
Or adjustable, or I'd have to carry the ones I have and then also buy tent poles for the tent because they have to be 120.
As long as they're adjustable, though, right?
adjustable would work.
Because
Is
I
yours
already have
adjustable?
adjustable.
Oh,
ones.
then you're
Oh,
fine.
then you're fine.
Yeah.
As long as
Okay.
they have to be 120. I think standard's usually 125.
120 to 125. I
see.
think.
Okay. So as long as they're adjustable, it's
like
universal.
44 inches.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's the weight on this thing?
You said under
It
2.
is
23.5 ounces.
1
So
pound,
it's under
11.9
2.
ounces.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
yeah,
it
that's
packs
crazy
down
light,
really
dude.
small.
Yeah. Insane.
That I would say that's the smallest pack down size that we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's probably
The other ones were like 18, 19.
Well, you were looking at some 3-person tents and stuff like
That's
that
true.
too. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Does Gossamer Gear have a 3-person version of this?
Don't know.
I don't know. I didn't look.
Go to Gossamer
If
Gear's
it-
website.
I hope it's called the 3.
like they're actually
The
right.
3.
And then just go to their website and see if
Filters. The Whisper, Solo Tarp, Twin Tarp, the 1, the 2,
Shelters,
and the Whisper.
No, they don't. It doesn't look like they do.
No,
that's
I
okay.
don't think they make 3-person.
They're not
tents.
into that. They're into ultralight.
Yeah, it's one or
Everything you get
two-person.
from their website is like
Yeah.
ultralight stuff, down to like the littlest things. So
Right,
yeah.
that makes sense that they wouldn't have something like that. But okay, I mean that is probably the most intriguing one for trekking pole options because of the price. I mean, dude, look at that. They have it on sale for $224 on their
That's
website.
bonkers
good deal.
right now.
That's a deal, dude.
Now, I will say this is the same thing with the Durston. That is the price of the tent. If you're going to get the footprint and the poles,
you gotta-
there's another $150 minimum.
I got you.
know, so
Yeah.
at least add on another 100. I would
If
say.
you want the footprint, right?
If you want
and
the
that's like
footprint.
they've got this like plastic ground,
which is
sheet.
what I have on some
and
of mine.
that's
too.
$11.
and that works too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do. I mean, there's ways around it. You
Yeah.
don't even have to use it.
Right,
Technically.
and dude, I haven't used a footprint in mine for the last like 2 trips.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've always used mine because I have it.
I
and I've
like
never
I
thought about-
like having it, but only for the durability.
Bro, honestly,
Only for durability.
If it doesn't clip into the structure of the poles or the tent or somehow it clips into some, it moves around so much, dude.
Yeah.
Mine clicks in.
Yeah,
mine
so
does
like
too.
mine does not click
Interesting.
in on my trekking pole tent, so it just freestands. And sometimes it's a pain in the ass to just get it to set still by itself.
I like having
The wind's blowing it all over the place.
I like having the added little security of knowing I'm not going to.
No, I get it,
punch
dude,
a hole.
100%.
Yeah,
but
I'm
Yeah, right.
That's why you bring duct tape, dude.
So
Yeah,
I
you're
want to
right.
throw it on there,
You ain't wrong.
and I own it. So it's I want to
Bring it
talk
on.
about it.
I was
bring it
waiting
on,
for
bring
you
it
to
on.
bring it out.
If we didn't talk about Nemo, then
I was gonna say I was expecting a Nemo to already be. We're 50 minutes in and Nemo has not been pulled up.
Listen,
So-
it's a 3-person tent. The Nemo Hornet 3-person, and I own this tent, so it's
a good tent.
I'm just gonna say it.
I feel
It's
like
on-
they're
it's on my list.
discontinuing this tent though.
It's $412 right now,
Yeah, I think they're
and it's
discontinuing
sub
the tent.
3 pounds for a 3-person tent.
let's be fair though, because it might not be that when people hear this episode and are going to buy it. It's
It's a $550 tent.
Right. It retails $550.
Paul's not even finding it on the website unless he's just bad at searching for things.
It's the latter.
Come on, come on, Paul.
Hornet 3. Hornet.
I think you just type in
or
Hornet.
Osmo, OSMO.
Yeah, they're all Osmo.
Yeah.
Or just go to
Elite.
the main tent page, and then you'll the shop page, and then go to tents, and it should be in there. It's not that they did discontinue one. I thought it was no, it wasn't the 1-person.
The 1-person has been very hard
It's
to find.
very hard to find.
and
you
they're
even
in
seeing
and out
it?
of stock, dude. I'm telling you right now,
He's moving kind of fast.
They have
Dragonfly,
I think they've
Hornet,
discontinued
this
the
one.
Hornet a little bit.
Yeah,
there
right
it is,
there,
right there. But is
yeah,
that the
it'll have all
3-person?
sizes on there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It says
you
up
can
to,
switch between them.
There's a 1, a 2, a 3.
So there's the one.
Osmo.
There's two.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at
So I will say
It's a sexy tent.
there's a shit ton of headroom there.
Yeah.
I think for the weight, and again, I've used the 2-person and it was a little cuddly. The
It was
3-person,
fine.
Hold on. So we did. You set it up once for some content that we were filming.
Yeah.
That was the 2-person.
Correct.
It's in
there,
our- it's
and
in our
there it is
intro.
next to Nalgene.
That's the 1-person.
That
That's
is,
not
it
the
is a little
2-person.
bigger than that.
That's not
But
the
it all
2-person.
fits in a stuff sack because
Yeah,
mine fits
right.
real smooth.
But hold on,
Yeah.
you said because did you buy the 2-person then return it for the 3?
I had the 2. I now have the 3.
Okay, because I remember when you put up the 2, and I was like, 2 people are
There's,
sleeping
with
on
these-
that?
there's how it
That's
packs
the
down
3,
right
yeah.
there.
With these tents, the 2-person is
Interesting.
perfect for
For
a
one.
single person.
Yeah.
Because if you like to have an extra little bit of room, like I would absolutely
Yeah.
buy the 2-person and
Yeah.
use it just for myself.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Or 3-person for 2. You know, you kind of gotta, unless you really want to be.
To me, I think the ultralight tents and you just need a little
Size up.
And I read that too online. I was like, most people are saying if you want 2 people in it, buy a 3-person.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I think some of like the tarp tent one that looks
Yeah.
pretty spacious for,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
and some of that again probably is just people's philosophy. But I don't know. To me, it's like throw another person on there, and I guess from personal experience, I got the 3 just to add to
The
it.
clip system for this Nemo tent for the Hornet is great.
Yeah.
I love how their clips are set up. I
Super
love how
simple.
everything goes in. It's really easy to put up. honestly, the 2-person was fine. I thought it was great.
We did okay.
Slept fine.
I just wanted the extra space, and I thought the weight of like carrying it was not. It was so not a big issue.
The bathtub bottom is pretty good in all of the ones that we've talked about so far. I've been eyeing that like a hawk too. Because that was one of the things
Brian has a column in his spreadsheet that's just does the bathtub bottom suck
on the
you know what though?
on the checklist.
But that's experience based. We've been in water, and now granted, it didn't come in, so we were safe.
It didn't come in, and it was a shitty placement. There was only a place that it was not a great campsite for us. It rained like in hell.
Yeah, and we were hanging out.
That tent does get a lot of shit for not actually having failed you.
Yeah. I will say though, on the heels of that, and we've only ever done this once.
True.
And so, Austin, maybe this is a consideration.
Yes,
I'll add this to things that are going to come through your mind. We have never really had a situation other than one time, and it was just Brian and I were on this trip. You guys were not there, unfortunately. We've never really had to hang out in the tent.
Right.
Right.
And I will say, when we were in the 6 Moon Designs, and it was raining, we were like, dude, we're going to go hang out.
Yeah.
It was kind of small.
Yeah.
To hang out in.
Right.
You slept the whole time, dude. What are you talking about?
But if we were in there for even longer than we were in there, and we had to be in there, like it was kind of tight.
It's tight.
And that's why I guess I'm making my personal case for having a little extra space. And I think the tarp tent, again, is one on this list that we've talked about that opens up that space and does a nice job.
Yeah.
I think having a little extra space, even if it costs you a little bit of weight, costs you a little bit of cash, I think it's nice.
Yeah.
And I will say that from the experience of like my Marmot 3-person, like I've been in there with, I think 3 people, and I've had 3 packs in there with those people. At least I know I've had at least 2 people with 2 packs in there. And having your shit inside, if it's raining or whatever, like that's nice, man.
It is
and
nice.
having the
for
space to me is worth the weight, personally.
I got you.
And all of these, what's cool, especially with the position I'm in, because I'm kind of shopping right now too, but not officially. You are. But
well, you're gonna spend the night with me.
I'm
We're
loosely
having
shopping.
a sleepover.
At least with an extra from snuggling with Alex. But coming from having a heavier tent right now that's single person, I like the room and I like all that stuff. It's like, okay, when I change, I'm going to focus on, I'm going to go for the good material that's really light. And that way I can make it bigger and still have a net reduction in overall weight.
Yeah, whatever you decide to do.
Right.
I mean, every 3-person we've looked at is lighter than your 1-person now, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, different price point.
So
I know, and we know that.
Wild.
But it's still crazy.
So it's
you're getting lighter no matter what.
there's no way to get heavier.
Does anybody?
Do you want me to give you? Do you want me to give you a sub $150 option?
No. So does anybody have any more options that you think would be what we've looking?
I do, but we've given you some really good options.
Because I think
Not worth looking at.
I think I've got one that's been sitting with me for a while, and I'm really intrigued. And
Can we guess?
Yeah.
Let's try and guess what. So it's of what we presented, what we think you're going to go for.
Shoot.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
I've got one that's sitting with me that I want to pull up again and take a look at.
Is this what you think, Paul?
I know. Yeah, it's the double rainbow.
It's the triple rainbow.
The triple rainbow.
I think the triple
Yeah.
rainbow. Switch over to the carbon rods, just to make it a little lighter. I think that what I like about this one, the space, the footprint, to be able to fit Paul and I comfortably with our packs, I feel like definitely.
100%.
For sure.
Absolutely.
The weight is insane, even with how big it is.
It even like seeing it on like the rocks in that photo. It looks kind of big though.
It's big.
Like the footprint is kind of big.
It's a 3-person tent, dude.
I kind of like this.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
You're not going to be able to find it when you walk back to it because it blends in with the.
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of cool. It does. So it is freestanding, but it does have an option for the vestibule
To
with
tent
the
out,
trekking
yeah.
poles,
Punch out, yeah.
if you want to. Which is again, that was another feature I don't think I necessarily have to have, but I think it's nice.
This also has that same feature for the head and foot box to open up that
those vents. Yeah, dude. It has the ventilation on the bottom.
Dude, this looks like when it's half rolled up for stargazing, it looks like something Miss Frizzle would drive.
It looks sick, dude. Yeah.
This dude has whatever one of these pictures is. The his pack matches the same color as the tent, which is pretty dope.
So
I like
here's
this
here's
tent.
what I read about this too. I'm not sure if it's the same for the rainbow as it was for the dipole, but they were saying the dipole you don't need a footprint for because it almost has a built-in double layer.
Oh, interesting.
On the bottom.
Well,
That's nice.
that helps too,
which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's made in the U.S. too, which isn't like I don't have to, everything I buy has to be that, but that just is kind of nice. I think I'm sold, man. I like this, dude. I like the tarp tent. I think the triple rainbow is the route to go. But really, I do need, even though I want to pay for it. Paul, what are your thoughts on this?
I co-sign.
Yeah?
I think this is a great.
Is there anything on this that you think might be a con, that might be a negative to go in with this route compared to some of the other ones?
No, I don't. The only hesitation that I have is like the setup, but that's something to just be learned.
Yeah,
just
I
like
think
every
do
other,
it once or twice and get comfortable.
Yeah.
Right,
with
and
it.
I think you're right, especially it being a little larger compared to some of these other ones. But
Sure.
again, I also like.
And what?
Or another reason why I wanted freestanding is because I feel like the trekking pole ones might be a little bit even more complicated because you have this like third-party piece being introduced into the setup.
Right.
Everything for this is measured out, ready to go. You don't have
Right.
to adjust anything. It's boom. We're rolling. So, I think this is the route. I think literally. We've decided.
So how
See,
do
that looks like a little car.
baby.
That's dope,
Frizzle's
dude.
driving
That's
that thing.
dope.
so the
Looks like a helmet of like a Star
is it
Wars.
just
Yeah,
logo.
yeah.
It's just
Like a
one,
helmet.
is it one spine?
One spine that goes across
And then
all the way
across.
from end to end,
And then it looks
a
like it
little
has
piece in the
a
middle.
side pole. Yeah,
A middle
that
one,
opens it
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
How
Yeah, it's nice.
the corners are being taught just because how they're
Correct.
tied off to the
Yeah.
cross
Correct.
section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is it without the Black Friday deal? Because it's out of stock, so you can't buy it at that.
I don't even think it's a Black Friday deal. I think it's
I think it's just,
just
on
their
sale.
price.
It's just
Yeah.
on sale.
It's just on sale.
So
Okay.
for sub 500.
Yeah, so so call it 500 if you don't get that deal. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Sweet. I
So
love it.
on the next trip, we'll have some tart
We'll have
tarp
some new
tent
gear.
content to
Yeah,
share.
dude. Honestly,
The
yeah,
old
man.
TRDW.
I'm
I'm
excited.
I'm excited to see it, man. I might.
Yeah,
one day.
I'm excited about this brand.
I'm
I'm
glad
too.
we found it.
I'm certainly going to go down the YouTube rabbit hole
Bro,
on
there,
this too.
there might be another tarp tent on the next trip too.
Oh
I
my
might go
God.
with that dipole one person.
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
love it.
Can we look at? Well, we're over. I'm gonna.
We'll do
the
it off
Strata,
camera.
The if it was called the
Yeah.
Stratosphere, there's other tents on this website that are just. They're
I
just
will
cool
say-
looking too. They're like unique. The setups are. It's not
Having
your standard
looked
thing.
at now
The
like
Stratospire.
6 websites
Stratospire,
of
yeah.
tents. They have a video of the tent, like they're like showing you kind of like
Yeah.
a fly
Yep.
through of the tent. That's a nice. I
Nice
wish
touch.
all
Nice
websites
touch,
did
dude.
that.
Nice
yeah,
touch,
Nice
good
touch.
user
Nice
experience.
Good work.
Good on you, Tarp Tent.
Well, Austin,
We got you a
Yeah.
customer today.
Your
You're
logo
welcome.
doesn't look great, but
Look at that. Somebody call my boy
Somebody
here.
could help
My
you with that.
opinion.
Yeah.
Call my boy here.
website
for
could
that.
use a little love.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
No, I'm excited that you picked my tent.
Yeah. Well, I got
Snickers.
something coming
Prize.
your way.
Whoop whoop! I won the prize. Whatever that is. I
Whatever
get a
that is.
Snickers. Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
right.
this thing?
This is
That's
we're-
fussy.
we're-
we can go
That's
down.
fussy.
We
go
could
down
have
that,
another
yeah.
hour looking at
I
tents
know,
if we were
it's
just
We'll have a
scrolling.
Tarp Tent
so-
episode apparently.
Yeah,
next time,
right.
so.
Well,
All right.
guys, we hope that you guys learned something. I know Austin learned something. I think these guys did too. We found a new brand that I think we're all
Yeah,
kind of
hell
excited
yeah.
about. We introduced Paul as
Paul!
being part of the
Yeah.
podcast
DP.
now. Thank you for helping out with all that. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email us. The email is trailtheorypod@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and we will see you next time.
Daddy's got a brand new tent.
The Trail Theory Podcast is sponsored by Audimute and Audio Technica. Music by Dan Koch.